The modern business suit began its life as a radical act of youthful defiance. Every line of today's corporate uniform was originally designed to tear down the established, restrictive rules of Edwardian dress. Before the First World War, the male silhouette was defined by the frock coat, a heavy, knee-length garment designed to create a stiff, hourglass shape. These coats were often tailored from coarse wool, weighing up to 22 ounces per yard, nearly double the weight of a standard modern suit. The most punishing component was the starched detachable collar. These were rigid cages for the neck, explicitly engineered to keep a man's head perfectly erect and stationary, preventing even a slight tilt of the chin. This suffocating wardrobe was incomplete without its mandatory weight. Gentlemen carried walking sticks and wore heavy top hats as part of a daily, required performance of their social standing. Edwardian fashion served as intentional physical armor. It was wearable architecture designed to project aristocratic status, regardless of how much it cost the wearer in human comfort. In 1914, global conflict forced an immediate cultural pivot. The stationary man of leisure was no longer the ideal. Instead, the world required the efficient, highly mobile warrior. The 1902 service dress tunic prioritized movement, replacing the cinched Edwardian waist with a boxy barrel chest for combat mobility. Soon, wartime rationing turned these military necessities into civilian standards, stripping away pleats, belts, and oversized pockets to streamline the wardrobe. To clothe millions of drafted men quickly, the military began collecting chest and waist measurements on a massive scale. This body measurement data allowed for the creation of the first generic size ranges. Using industrial sewing machines and standard sizing, civilian factories began mass-producing suits for the very first time in history. The scarcity of war accidentally dismantled the era's bespoke clothing, giving birth to the democratized, ready-to-wear industry. Returning veterans, now accustomed to the mobility of their uniforms, viewed their pre-war clothes as restrictive sausage casings. They refused to return to the rigidity of the Edwardian past. This mindset fueled a cultural demand for physical freedom. In the Jazz Age, men needed clothing that could survive the high-energy movements of fast-paced sports and ballroom dancing. Youth culture responded with a radical new trouser silhouette. These Oxford bags featured extremely wide legs and a high waist, providing a volume of fabric that moved freely. The industry responded by abandoning heavy 22-ounce wools for lighter, breathable fabrics. These new, innovative materials flowed and draped naturally with the wearer's body, rather than standing stiffly against it. The baggy, flowing 1920s suit represented a literal physical liberation, allowing men to finally step out of their Victorian cages. By the mid-20s, the world's most photographed man began using his influence to dismantle the very traditions he was born to uphold. Edward, Prince of Wales, ignored the formal expectations of the palace to adopt the loose, comfortable style of the younger generation. He pioneered a dress soft philosophy, championing unlined jackets and soft, attached, turned-down collars. These choices directly challenged the heavy, starched standards of his father's generation. Edward routinely integrated casual sportswear into high society, replacing formal waistcoats with colorful Fair Isle knitwear and baggy below-the-knee trousers known as +4s. He even innovated in formal wear by introducing the midnight blue evening suit. He chose the color because it allowed the camera's flash to pick up tailoring details like lapels and buttons, whereas pure black appeared as a flat, dark void in photography. As the ultimate arbiter of style, Edward VIII granted global permission for men everywhere to prioritize comfort over rigid, aristocratic tradition. By 1929, the heavy, ornate Edwardian codes were extinct. A new, democratized uniform of modernity had taken their place. The template created in the 1920s, with its natural shoulders, soft attached collars, and straight-legged trousers, remains the blueprint for the business suit used today. The suit stands as a 100-year-old monument to the demands of the post-war generation, a blueprint drafted by those who survived a world war and insisted on the basic freedom to breathe, to move, and to live.